All right, ladies. So today we're going to be reacting to one of my old videos about how to prevent male manipulation and how to check his corny ass. Okay, this is some of you guys have not watched this type of video because we have a lot of new subscribers. So hopefully you guys enjoy my old videos, and I'm gonna give you guys my take on it, whether or not I agree with what I'm saying or whether or not I don't agree. Okay, and if you guys ever want to check out more of those videos, just go to the archives, and I have a bunch of those. And if you guys want to work with me one-on-one or purchase my courses, we're having 50% off my courses this month only using the coupon code MINDFUL. And we're having 20% off my coaching calls and email questions using the coupon code MINDFUL. Okay. And if you guys enjoy these types of reaction videos, I should be posting more on my Patreon. So just join the Patreon for $5 a month. You'll be able to access videos I don't post on YouTube. Okay. So let's begin with the video. Hopefully it's not toxic.
Like a boss.
So today we're going to be talking about how to stop manipulation from happening from the beginning. Alright, I'm going to teach you 3 steps how to check his corny ass so that manipulation is avoided. You see, a lot of people try to get out of manipulations. My solution to you is avoiding manipulation. You see what I'm saying? So these are some of the 3 steps, and the reason why I made this video is because a lot of women get manipulated by men. They definitely do. And the women that
women manipulate men as well. What what is this? Simp Alexis?
And they get manipulated by men usually they care about. You see, it's not easy to get manipulated by a guy you don't care about, but it's very easy to be manipulated by a guy who you care about.
That's usually because of the halo effect. The halo effect is when you like someone, you're all of a sudden gonna be biased towards your partner. And like when someone's good looking, you assume they're more generous, you assume they're more honest, you assume they have higher morality. And unfortunately, when somebody's not as attractive looking, you're gonna assume more negative things about them. So when you like someone, you have a bias, a natural bias to want to believe the things they tell you. So it's not something that's just for women, it's also for men. We also get manipulated by our natural bias, right? Because when we like someone, it's emotional, and emotions create biases. Like gravity distorting light, our emotions distorts reality.
And so that's part of the risk of caring about people, that they are easy to be manipulative, and you will only know either if you know how to read the signs or if you gain perspective and look back. You know, it's kind of like being depressed. You don't know you were depressed until you get out of that period in your life and you look back and you're like, holy shit, I was deeply depressed, right? So these are some of the 3 steps that you got to avoid, right? So one of the most important things when it comes to avoiding manipulation is detaching yourself from the outcome. You see, for men, right? For example, you women, and you women know exactly what I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah, man, I got the worst hairline, people. At this time, I thought I was going bald. Clearly, I'm not bald. But I was just born with a shitty hairline. Jesus Christ.
You cannot fuck with a guy if he doesn't care about you, right? And also, you cannot fuck with a guy if he has other options, all right? Now, what does other option means? Other option doesn't just mean fucking sex. Other options mean validation. They get their validation from different sources. The more you love someone, the more of their validation you exclusively want. So, why do we need validation? Simple, because we lack it from our own selves. The natural tendencies of humans is to feel a lack inside.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't do things that make them happy. Humans used to feel validated because every human had a task when we lived in tribes, because you just couldn't be lazy as a human. Lazy humans got killed off. Like if you were just doing nothing and you were an adult, like a homeless, prehistoric homeless person, you're getting kicked off. Like get the fuck out of here. Like how are you lazy in this tribe? And so everyone had something that they did that gave them pride. Not everyone, right? It wasn't perfect, but people did something throughout the day. They moved around, their bodies moved, they exercised because they had to do things. And so that does affect the body in a positive way. You get blood circulating, you get dopamine, you're doing it with other people, you're more social in those types of societies. And so they felt validation. And with that inner validation of doing things with other people comes with that comes high self-esteem to some degree, right? But most people, they don't know how to feel good, and so that muscle of happiness gets atrophied in their minds, and they depend on other people to make them feel good. because they've atrophied their faculties of happiness. This is why meditation is so important, people. Having a meditation practice will create within you an ecosystem of positive emotions, where whenever you get to a certain level of unhappiness, it releases positive emotions, and you develop that through a consistent meditation practice.
That lack inside will manifest itself through you trying to find companionship. That's part of and that companionship will lead to more reproduction. I think it's part of the DNA of humans, so that you could keep fucking and keep having kids, right? So when it comes to detaching to manipulation, the first thing you got to do is stop. How can I say this? Raise your standards. And because
how can I say this? Raise your standards. In other words, stop having low standards. And that is true. The issue is that manipulation is not an act of stupidity. That's the problem. Like, when you're getting manipulated and you're being manipulated, it's not that you're stupid. That if you like, it's just that the emotions are so intense that you're not making rational decisions. And what do I say by rational decision? This is what I mean. There is an irrational decision, and then there is a rational decision. Both of those decisions come from two different parts of the brain. Whenever you're operating with your frontal cortex, your decision making is always better, because you are not taking in too much emotion and you see things clearly. But whenever you make decisions based on emotion, which is your limbic system, your prehistoric brain per se, your decision making is going to be off kiltered. It's going to be based on short-term decisions, based on what you want now, and not based on the future. Compulsive decision making. It's like somebody who decides to kill someone because they did something in the traffic and they got pissed off, and so they killed them. That decision was not made with their rational brain, because the rational brain would say, "Hey, motherfucker, we're gonna go to prison," all right? But because they did it with their irrational brain, they just did it out of pure emotion. So this is what happens when you're in love. You are acting out of pure emotion. So it's not that you're stupid. It's just that you're not controlling your emotions. You could call it the same thing, but it's just, manipulation is all about controlling emotion. Because once you control someone's emotions, you can control the quality of their decision making. And if you're making bad decisions and I'm toxic, then you're gonna end up with me. You get what I'm saying? But if you're making good decisions and I'm not toxic, you're not gonna end up, and I'm not toxic, you're gonna end up with me. So if you could erode someone's decision making, you don't have to do much to make them pick what you want them to pick. And that's what happens when you're in love. That's why you're vulnerable. Especially if you're heartbroken, especially if you have really low self-esteem, your decision making is gonna be really shit. It's gonna be horrible. You're gonna end up with fucking Bob, the abusive boyfriend.
You. In other words, if you say, "I would not accept bullshit from men," right? You gotta have clear fucking boundaries that you will follow through, no matter how nice his dick is. You gotta have those boundaries, because if you don't have those clear boundaries, what's gonna happen is that the guy's gonna get you emotional. How does he get you emotional? You start liking him. You feel emotion towards him. You start giving him the benefit of the doubt. And once you really start liking him, your perception of him will not be clear. Everyone else will see the manipulation but you. So for you have to defend yourself. You have to arm yourself. And the only way for you to arm yourself is to have standards. Say, "I would not accept a guy who only texts me once a day." Or I will not accept the guy who goes silent on me when he's mad at me. Now, when you say, but what happens if he goes silent on me and I never hear from him again? Listen, bitch, okay?
What? Alexis, don't say that. That's mean. You heard that? Unbelievable.
Go. Do not chase a guy. Lose the guy rather than chasing him. Make that a fucking policy. Do not chase a guy out of emotion. Only chase a guy out of strategy.
He needs a toxic branch.
What do I mean by strategy? Only chase him so that you could give him a taste and then back off. Don't chase him because you feel needy and you want to hear from him. That's how you get manipulated. That's how you get manipulated. He'll start seeing your weaknesses. That's the first step. Raise your standards and do not accept bullshit from men. Have clear boundaries, and the most important thing, be willing to walk away. Be willing to walk away.
People might say, Alexis, why you always say that? You'd be surprised how many people call me asking for advice, and the last thing they want to do is walk away. Like, seriously. Like, if I really repeat myself, why don't you listen? If you know, so it's kind of like, Alexis, sometimes you always say the same thing, walk away. You want to know why? Because everyone else does everything. They do all the spinneroonies and all the backflips, but that. They choose to listen to everything that I say except that part. Come on, man. Of course I gotta repeat it. Some of y'all are hard-headed. Some of y'all cabezaduras, man. Come on. If you find yourself in a toxic or bad relationship or unhappy and you're watching my channel, most likely you're not walking away. That's all. You're doing everything but that. But I pulled away. Did you walk away? No. But I told him this. Did you walk away? No. But I made him jealous. No. Did you walk away? No. But I'm like, listen to me. When you clearly you're not listening. You're not listening. And yes, people, I'm a tough lover. Oh, Melissa, you went back to Tyrone. Oh, let me put the toxic stick down. Let me hold your hand. Oh, I'm so sorry you went through that. I empathize for you. But bitch, please, get your hands off of me, Melissa, okay? What the hell did I tell you about going back to Tyrone, the personal trainer? He doesn't like you. Move on, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat things for you guys. All right, let's continue.
The drop of the switch. That's how it has to be. There's no other way around it. Because what's going to happen is that he's going to hurt you. And then you're like, well, like, he hurt me. And when someone hurts you, in order for you to feel better, you need to get their validation. Right? So you're like, oh, why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? He doesn't respond. And then you text him again, why are you mad at me? He says, look, I'm mad at you because of this, all right? I'm not dealing with this. You're like, I'm sorry, baby, I'll change. Oh, for real? Yeah, I'll change. I'm so sorry. And now guess what? You fuck up, and you're like, oh, no, I fucked up. I'm sorry, baby. He's going to go cold on you, and you're going to go back to him. This is what happens. It's human nature. So the first thing, be willing to walk away. Be willing to completely let it go. Now, the problem is that it's very difficult for some women to let it go, but this is what I'm talking to you. I'm saying how to avoid it from the beginning. I'm not telling you guys how to escape it. If you guys are in it, how to avoid it from the beginning. Mm-hmm. But also
it's all about avoiding. Like any doctor would say, it's all about preventing disease. Like, don't come to me with diabetes. Let's prevent diabetes.
If you're in it, right? Raise your standards. Do not accept that bullshit from guys. Don't accept my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Second thing, get some perspective. Always be meeting other men. When you
see, this is the thing, okay? I understand that advice. I really do. This advice applies in the secular world, right? And it is true, meeting other men. But I don't know what I'm going to say after this because I haven't watched it in a while. But I kind of agree with that advice only from this perspective. Have other people in your life. Always be meeting other men, not to date, but know other people in your life. Have other people that you literally look at and know. Because sometimes when we only see one person, our focus gets very narrowed on them. And we start exaggerating how good they are, and we start diminishing the negative flaws because we don't have perspective, right? Perspective is meeting people and having an understanding of this person, not just in isolation, but also in the light of other people. It's like a color. This is black, sure, but how black is it? Compared to this is gray. But compared to this is black all of a sudden, right? But now, compared to this is gray. Compared to this is black. It's the same thing, right? A lot of the times we're just looking at the person like that. Just we're only seeing them, and we're not seeing them in context. And we're not saying to compare people to other people. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is have context. Know other people. Don't just have a limited understanding of people based on a small group. That's why it's so important to have a bunch of political affiliations if you're into politics. But it's not ideal, right? For example, me, I'm not good with politics simply because I have a lot of nuanced views. I view it from this. I understand the leftist perspective, but I also understand the right perspective. Not the right, but the right. From the right. A lot of Republicans that know me think I'm left. A lot of leftists that know me think I'm Republican because because I don't agree with them all the time. So I don't make a good political person per se because I'm gonna end up pissing you off because I'm gonna end up disagreeing with you. I'm gonna end up getting kicked out of the Democratic group and the Republican group. People say I'm more independent, and that's kind of true, right? But it's like it's one of those things that you have to undulate between two things. And in fact, if you're a creative person, one of the most important traits in any creative person is negative capability. In Robert Greene's book, The Mastery, he says a negative capability is being able to hold two opposing ideas in your mind and be at peace with it. Be able to see things from two completely different perspectives and see their point of views and not feel stressed about it and actually find some enjoyment of it. Because from that point of view, you could develop new theories, new ideas, and ideas will come to you that reflect reality only when you're able to entertain both sides. So if you believe one thing, go read articles that goes against it. But a lot of people, when they get emotionally involved with things, they don't want to do that. And so that's how you end up getting manipulated because you don't want to open your mind to other points of views. And that's what they want you to do. They depend on that natural process of the mind, if that makes any sense. They depend on humans just closing themselves off. And in fact, as you get older, you get more closed-minded. Just like the body stiffens over time, the mind also stiffens over time, and you begin to get more conservative over time.
A job, and you get fired. Your employees will have other applications. Employers take application even when they have you in the job. Why? So that if you leave, they have somebody else to replace you. I'm not saying to be fucking other people. What I'm saying is have other options. Keep applying for different jobs. Keep your options open. Put guys in the friend zone. Not me though.
Yeah, even Robert Greene says never commit to anyone, and he doesn't say not to commit to anyone by being a commitment phobe. But what he is saying is don't commit too fast. Don't take the first person that comes to you. Keep your options open until you make a decision. But don't just pick the first one that comes to you. That's all he's saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all he is saying. Don't just fall for the first option. If you think the first option is perfect, good. Explore other options and then go back to that option. But always give yourself some perspective. It's like shopping for only one type of car. Like, what are you doing? Shop and go to multiple places and shop. Don't shop with your heart. Shop with your mind, if that makes sense.
Fucking do it, because I'm leaving if you do that shit. I made a mistake of accepting the friend zone from a girl a couple weeks ago. Huge mistake. I'm not doing that shit again.
Which one was that?
Why? Because it gives you perspective. And also, when I mean perspective, also doesn't just mean compare him to other guys, because when you like a guy, you exclusively see him and you sort of give him more qualities than he really has. When I mean by perspective, also, it means looking into the future. Look at how this behavior will affect the future. Look at how this relationship, if it progresses at the pace that it's progressing, and then in the direction that it's progressing, how will it look in the future? Don't just look at the quick reward I'm getting.
Yeah, and usually, if you want to see how this will look in the future, as a guy, superficiality isn't what I should be focusing on, because the physical will go away in a few years. That's just the fact, right? But we were doing a reaction video to a Robert Greene video, and we're posting it on Patreon today. But that video said that Robert said that if you don't find somebody who knows how to take criticism, right? Has difficult conversations, like when you have a problem between the two of you guys, he doesn't just get angry at the difficult conversation or closes off, but he actually talks. And being able to talk with them about random things in 10 years. Are you able to do those things? And if you can't, then this is not the guy for you. And it kind of makes sense, right? You want someone who you could just shoot the shit with. You want someone where you guys are just sitting at a coffee shop and you guys are just judging people as they're walking by. All right, like the girl who wanted to eat people. I don't know if I told you guys, there was this one girl. Adorable girl. I'm not even gonna lie, man. She's a fucking adorable person, honestly. She's really nice. Really beautiful, too, but just a really nice person. We get along. But she told me how that one of her fantasies is to eat a human. I swear to God, people. You know how they say like my blood just fell, like my whole body became cold when she told me that. I thought I was next. Like, I swear to God, I thought she was gonna give the signal, and all of a sudden, a bunch of dudes were gonna come in and hold me down, get some of this precious like fucking heart that I have, or the side, what is the thing called, liver. Anyways, I was like, "What, bitch? What'd you say? You say you want to eat people? Or you mean you want to eat with people, right?" She's like, "No, I want to taste it." I'm like, "Oh my God, just by luck. Like, how am I having chemistry with a cannibal?" Anyways, so she told me that, and I was like, "Okay, I need some clarity." So I started questioning her and investigating this cannibal ordeal. And she told me that, I was like, I started asking her, "Okay, is it that you just like to eat any type of food?" I was asking that fucking. Please say yes. Please tell me this is just an extension of just culinary curiosity, and one of them is a human. And I was like, "So would you eat a dinosaur?" She was like, "Yeah, totally." "Would you eat a T-Rex's eye?" She was like, "100%. I would totally love to taste it." And I'm like, okay, this creepy girl just wants to eat random things, and one of them is a fucking human, illegal type of shit, right? And I told her, "How would you do that?" And she was like, "Well, I don't know, man. I don't think it's possible." And then a tear fell down her eye. No, she didn't have a tear. And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, okay. Don't get any ideas, man. I know, I have a big butt, but don't be getting any ideas, man." And then I told her how, she told me how, like, she met an ex. She met a guy years ago where he also had that fantasy. And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? Is this Dexter?" And she was like, sometimes they would just talk and have like funny conversations where they would people watch, and they were like, "Would you eat him?" And they were like, she was like, "Nah, I wouldn't eat him. He doesn't look tasty." And they would just have those like conversations. People just walking by, not knowing they're getting seasoned in other people's minds. And so then, when one time we went to the park and we just started doing that, I have a sense of humor, right? And actually, Robert Greene said that. Another important thing is, more important than political values is your sense of humor. Like, you want to have somebody who has a similar sense of humor, who laughs at the things that you laugh. Me, I don't give a fuck. I started laughing. I'm like, I will eat that dude over there. Hell yeah, I will eat that dude. Put some seasoning, put some sazon, right? And I just played along with it. No plans are being hatched up, right? We're not fucking Bonnie and Clyde. But, it was kind of like that for me, at least, I have the sense of humor to be able to be okay with someone like that, as long as they don't fucking take me to a private island to the special chefs who knows how to cook fucking buttocks. I don't fucking know the menu people, right? But yeah, that was just funny, man. The cannibal chick. Oh man. And honestly, people, I'm not. If she, like, she's actually a very nice person, people.
of getting his validation and feeling good. Nah, bitch. No, I'm kidding. Look into the future and see how that affects your whole future, because sometimes the reason why you make bad decisions is because you don't gain perspective. You don't ask yourself, how does this decision affect my future? You see, for example, like, I smoke a lot of weed, right?
Or you're not willing to ask those questions because the truth might hurt.
And something that helps me stop smoking sometimes is not just seeing the initial high you get, but also seeing what will happen afterwards. Okay, I'll get high.
Man, that shit didn't work, people. I'm still smoking weed. Honestly, I continue to smoke because it's a decision, at least at this moment. I like it, people. Before, at that time, I was broke and I couldn't afford it. So that's why I needed to stop. But now, I don't mind. I could have stopped when I did that 10-day meditation retreat. I could have stopped, because when I smoked afterwards, I didn't feel comfortable. But I was like, it's a fun thing to do. You could judge me if you want, but that's what any addict would say, to be quite honest with you.
But then the next time, I'll smoke 2 hours later, right? And I'll get kind of high. And then 3 hours later, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not even getting that high. 4 hours later, I'll smoke another one. And then I'm like, fuck, now I'm chasing the magic dragon. You see? And so when I think about that, and I don't just focus on the reward, but also what happened today, what happened 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, then my mind begins to get more perspective, and it'll be a lot easier to let it go, right? And the last thing, focus on the larger goal. Have a goal in mind. Have a model of the relationship you want to have. Write it down. Write down how you want to be treated. Write down how he's going to be treating you, how you're going to be treating him,
and make it realistic. Don't be like me. Make your goals realistic, people. And one of the biggest detriments when it comes to setting goals is that it's unrealistic, and there are some elements about your goal that are outside of your control, right? So that's the part that you guys have to go more for the feeling than the actual physical dynamics. Go for the feeling. How do they make you feel? How does this person make you feel when they talk to you? How do you feel around them? How do you feel when you're not around them? Let life fill in the blanks. Let life feeling how he looks. Let life feeling how he treats you. But the overall feeling of feeling nice and happy around them will always fill in the blanks to something positive. How's your self-esteem? How do you see yourself? How do you see that person, right? And those goals and then having a desire for that goal will create natural standards and natural barriers where you're obsessed with that outcome that it becomes a barrier. Any guy that doesn't make you feel that way, if that makes sense.
Dynamic. Who's chasing who? What does he do for a living? What kind of friends does he have? How does he treat you? How does he talk to you? How does he talk to your friend? And also have things you will or will not accept in terms of your dream relationship. And every time you meet a guy, compare him to that. Ask yourself, is he worth it?
Yep. And in fact, you want to compare him to that. That's the man you should compare a man to. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is like a reaction video to myself. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of this though, and I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what video you guys want me to react to. I'm gonna be doing more of these